Welcome back to the Enjoy the Walk podcast, ladies and gentlemen. As we've hit our winter stride here, Dante, you and I always dive into the club building aspect. We're obviously novices. We're just diving into really doing it ourselves. But a guy we have on the podcast with us today can take just about any kind of hidden treasure, hidden, artifact almost in the game of golf and really turn it into a diamond in the rough. You could say it's something we've always enjoyed watching his Instagrams, his YouTube. So excited to have Brandon Mason on the show, golfer and craftsman. He's self-taught to professional club maker. Brandon, thank you so much for joining the show.
Hey, thanks for having me on. I love that intro. I don't think how many people know what go into like just doing an intro. It's so hard. so much pressure.
It's one of those things, man, and I love it, especially with people like yourself that are the self-taught to obviously professional. It gets me so amped. I'm like, I cannot wait to unravel all of it, and I think that's why that intro came out so easily, because I'm excited to get into this, man.
I'm excited about it too because just the whole like from self-taught to professional, that question has come up a lot. People say like what makes you a professional? I'm like, well, I think what makes me a professional is clubs that I build for them or restore. They go out and they win tournaments. That make me a professional.
I love that too. Professional, I always think too, is like number of hours spent in the trade, something like that too, which we can dive into, I'm sure here. But club
like
making is not a quick club making and club restoring is not a quick process.
No, it's not a cheap process either.
No, it's a great process to learn, and it can also be a bad process in the rabbit hole if you're a tinkerer.
Yeah,
and that is me.
It will definitely take you down a rabbit hole, but it won't take you down any other rabbit hole that YouTube would take you down.
Whew. Man, that's a whole podcast in itself. Awesome,
yeah,
man.
So I got in like I just love club, man. I think I love using my hands, really, to be honest with you. I love taking something that people have discarded, thrown away, and then bringing it back to life. And I always tell people though that some people that like doing that also turn into hoarders. Like I don't hoard. I like to make it and I like to give it to somebody else so it can be useful.
That's one of the coolest things of club making is whether you sell it or use it yourself, there's always an end goal of using it at some point and not just setting it on a shelf to be looked at.
You know how many driver shafts I have sitting in my bag, and I'm sitting there, I was like, yo, you know what? Maybe I should sell these. And I'm like, you know what? No, I might have to go tinker back to that one. Just like
some stuff I got like about, I'm looking at them right here next to me. I got about 5 clubs that, like, as far as woods, that I refuse to get rid of. Like this one is right here. I might as well pull it out. It's crazy. This one club is it's a wood, but I put a graphite shaft on it. So it's an old Ford Master, an old Wilson Ford Master. This was totally tore down. I took it, brought it back to life, sanded it. I did the whipping on it myself, and it has a dealer. I forgot this shaft is like super stiff. I forgot what it was, but it's the one with the little skull on it. So that lets you know it's probably hard as hell.
So you can really crack that
rip.
Yeah, it's the rip. Yeah.
So when I put it on here, of course, it's graphite, so it made like this like a Frankenstein. It needed to get the swing weight up. So what I did was I took little tilt weights, metal tilt weights, and I cut them, and I put little holes in the bottom of here, and I brought the swing weight up and just epoxied them in there and put this back on top. So it's kind of like having a muscle car, but not really knowing what's under the hood.
That's what I'm talking about. Vin Diesel, baby. The Fast and Furious of golf clubs. I'm all about it.
Definitely crazy.
Man, I'll tell you what, and that's the way, like, for those who are just listening on, whether it's Apple, iTunes, or Spotify, guys, go check out our YouTube page. He broke out this Frankenwood, I'm going to call it, and he really took us through it, showed us that, guys, go look at our YouTube page, Enjoy the Walk podcast there. But Brandon, let's dive into before the club making, man. Where did because you have to have a desire for the game of golf before you dive into club making, obviously. Where did that start, and how did it evolve to this club making path you're on now?
Yeah. It's a long story that I'm gonna make very short, as short as possible. So basically, I just by trade, I am a producer. I produce TV commercials, and I went to school for directing. I got a master's of fine art in directing motion picture. I did broadcasting. I worked for this might be before y'all time actually, but I worked for CW Network for a while. CW and the My Network down south. I did that for a while as a creative service producer. So I always been like a artist, and I always been into like arts. That was my thing. So I actually wrote a movie. It's crazy. I wrote a movie. But I haven't done anything with it actually. You can think about it as like the 2000 when I wrote it, it was like 2017. So back then it was like the 2017 version of 10 Cup with Instagram in it. So I wrote I wrote a movie, and it was about golf. It was a romantic comedy about golf. And then I realized, I'm like, hold up, you idiot. How you gonna write a romantic comedy about something that you don't do or don't play or anything? So like I said, you know what? I'm gonna just embed my life into the culture, And I went out and I started playing golf. And like anybody who played golf, I got hooked. Like the first time I like peered one, it was like it went up through my arms into my soul. And I was like, damn, I like this. So of course I still sucked back then, but I always been competitive, and I feel like I'm a athlete. But that's another subject. But just because you feel like you're an athlete and you're good at other sports, don't mean you're gonna be good at golf. But I'm not gonna go down that rabbit hole. I'm gonna stay on this one. So I started playing, and so I say, hey, you know what? I think I want to go get lessons, which most people don't do either. Don't go get lessons, but that's another subject too. So I went and got some lessons. I got hooked, and I started playing. I had only been playing golf for like a month, and I was like, man, I'm gonna go out and play in a tournament. So I signed up for like, I saw it on Golf Channel or something. It was like the Golf Channel AM tour or something like that. So I signed up for it, not really knowing what the hell I was getting myself into. So I go out there thinking I'm halfway decent. I went and played in a tournament. It's had a super nice course. It was a private course too, because I'm in the Bay Area. It was Ruby Hill, I think. Yeah, I think it was Ruby Hill. It's a private course out here. When it, I think I shot like a 138, man. I came in dead last, and I was like, "Oh, this sucks." Most people would have quit, but I just kept going, and then kept practicing, kept working at it, kept getting more and more hooked. And then once I got better at playing, I decided I was like, wanna, I don't want to be the person that go out and just buy the new driver because I think it's gonna make me hit the ball farther. I was like, I want to know that my equipment is like set up for me. So I started reading. First, no, be honest with you, the first thing I did was I started Googling. I'm like, okay, golf club building schools. Like, man, you can't go to school for it. It's like one school, like up in Ohio, and that's it. And now Mitchell got a school, but really it was just one school, the Golf Works. And I was like, damn, it's one school. I like how people learn how to build clubs. And then it hit me. I'm like, hold up, you a smart guy. Just go get some books. So I went and got a whole bunch of books, and I just started reading books. I started watching a couple of videos. I started calling random people who build golf clubs that I like their work. Start harassing them, start making some friends, start making some enemies. And the rest was history. And I kind of like stumbled up on learning how to build golf clubs. I built some for myself. People saw some that I built for me. They were like, man, can you build me some? I started building my friends some clubs. I built each one of my friends 6 sets total. I built each one of my friends a set of free golf clubs. They just bought the components. I built them. They loved them. They started telling other people, and the rest was history. Now, what happened was it started becoming way too much. It was consuming me because you got to keep in mind the whole time I got a family. I'm working, and I'm like, hold up, time out. I like, how can I still satisfy my need, but not be stressed out with having to build golf clubs every week? I'm like, man, forget this. I never, because anybody who build golf clubs know the more golf clubs you build, the less time you get to play. And I like to play. I'm gonna be honest with you. I like to play. So I was like, how can I satisfy this itch without being subject to just having to build. Like, oh, I'm starting a YouTube channel. So that's how I got here.
Welcome to where we
That,
are,
that
December 7th, 2020.
that's the short version of it. So
Man,
But I
and
mean, I think that's just that's kind of one of the keys to just building golf clubs. Like you said, there is no school. There's really nowhere that you can go, and it's kind of, if you want to get into it, you're just gonna have to pick the expert's brain and just, it's trial and error until you get, you find that craft and you become an expert into it. And I'm nowhere near the skills that you have, but I went through the club fitting process, and when I played lacrosse in high school and college, I was always a gearhead. I always, for some reason, I was fascinated with the equipment. And then, after college, it really wasn't finding a bunch of like guys in their, mid 20s, mid to late 20s, trying to get a team together is very difficult. And then I kind of busted my knee the one time, and then realized, I said, you know what? Let me pick up the golf clubs and learn the game.
yeah.
And then I was like, knowing how expensive it was, I was like, all right, you're just not going to learn the equipment. You're just not going to learn the gear. Yeah, that did not happen. I got so fascinated after the club fitting process, and when I got fitted for clubs, and then I'm sitting there looking at guys like piecing clubs together and starting to build. And it's just a trial and error process, and you just got to keep up with the practice. And that's the best way to learn.
For me, yeah, I totally agree. Like for me, it was the whole educational aspect. Like learning how to build golf clubs made me a better golfer. Like it's like, how do you? Of course, you're gonna know what square is on a club because you building other clubs for other people, and they gonna quickly tell you if it ain't square or not. Like some people like their logo to match up with their face being square. I play my grips face down, but everybody got the certain thing that they like, and you quickly learn. And I learned a lot. If I started to learn what offset looked like. I started to learn what I like as a player and what I don't like. That's why I played cavity bats for 2 weeks, and ever since then I have never touched a set of cavity bats. And most people think I'm crazy, but that taught me how to play. Right now I play some Mirror MB 505s. It's the same ones that Abraham was playing. He got some new clubs now, but it was the same ones that the blades that he were playing from Mirror. And you start to learn like who has the best foraging. All of them come from the same foraging houses in Japan. You start to learn, you know, what you like about foraging versus carbon steel. Like I'm not everybody using carbon steel, Tyler's everybody, but I'm not a carbon steel fan. I play Mizuno. I still play Mizuno T7s. I bought a bunch of them because I love them, but they forge, and I like feedback. Like it's something about, when I hit a blade and I hit it wrong and it sends shockwaves up my right arm. It's like punishment. Like don't hit me like that no more. So it's some about that I like. It offers the feedback. It's like a child, like my son. I got two bad. Okay, my kid's not bad, but they're very active. And I tell them don't do something, then they go do it, and they burn their hand. It's like, okay, you touch the iron, I bet you won't touch it no more. So, it's like you start learning all these different things when you're building, and I feel like it's a market for the DIY golfer. You know what I'm saying? Like not everybody. You got some people who just want to go blow the bank and go and spend like 2,000, 2,500 on some clubs, and that's fine. I totally support them too. But like it's something about us true, like golfers who want to get out there and get our hands dirty, or like me, just cut your hands all up. But whatever. It's just something about it.
There's no greater feeling as when you take components and like you said, you're an artist, and
Yep.
when you take these components and then you start with from scratch, it's like doing like a painting. You get like a blank canvas, and all of a sudden you start going, and then you
Yep.
start piecing things together, and next thing you know, you have this club or this like elegant picture, and it's like this masterpiece that you just put all this hard work into it.
Yep.
And that's a rewarding factor, seeing like just that components put together, and then boom, you have this golf club, and you're like, now like I'm gonna go take this, and you're out with your buddies, and you're like, yeah, and they're like, oh man, that's real sweet, like where'd you get that? Well, I built it. And they're like, what? No way, really? Yeah, I mean, like
there's
make
always
the materials from
a
scratch,
shock
but
and all followed by like very quick interest when you tell someone you've built the club. Like not, oh, I
Yes.
got it off the shelf. It's oh,
Yes.
you built it? And then people want to dive in and ask those questions of like, how'd you do this?
Yeah.
How'd you do that? And it kind of like, you know, Brandon, like you said earlier, and I think you put it perfectly, that club or that set of clubs, it does become like a child. Like you're so proud of it. You want to see it play well. You want to see it, you know, perform. And it's one of those things where it builds that attachment to that club or that set of clubs, especially when it's your own.
The first time I built the first club that I ever built, when I decided, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do this. This is what I'm gonna do. So I went, after like, you know, just doing other stuff and messing up. I was like, okay, this is the first club that I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna really build and I'm gonna hit it and it's gonna be great. So I went and bought like a R5, a tailor-made R5. I think I got it for like $10 or something. And then I ordered the shaft was kind of overboard, but I couldn't pass up on it. It was a deal money shaft. I went and bought a deal money shaft, put it on the R5. I call it mixing the that I like doing that too. I still do that now. Mix the old with the new, but I call it like mix. Okay, I'm gonna mix the old with the new. So I put it together, got it to the swing weight that I like, D 3.5. It's weird. Like nobody probably be able to tell a 3.5, but that's just what I like. It's in my head. I like a D 3.5, so that's what I play. Made it D 3.5. I didn't have a frequency analyzer back then, so I really didn't know the stiffness. I just held it out, and I was like, "Oh yeah, that feels about right," you know. So I took it out to the course. It was the first swing. My friend Perry, one of my good friends, I play golf with him all the time. He was like, "What you got?" I like this that R5 that I built. He was like, "Oh, this your first time hitting it?" He was like, "Yeah." He was like, "Okay." You know, it's kind of like, yo, you know them friends that sit back and they secretly want to see you succeed, but they also want to be ready to laugh if something goes wrong. So he was kind of in the cut looking like this head better not fly off.
that's
So,
that is the scariest thing of taking a club for the first time when you're like a novice beginner club builder and you put one together and you're like, man, and it looks good, and then
yeah.
you take it to the range, you're like,
Is
Turn it back now.
Yeah.
And then you just give it a couple. I mean, like what I do is I'll take the ball down, right, and I'll just do like a little, like I'll just like tap it out there, maybe like 10 yards, like a little putt. And I'm like, okay, all right, okay. And then it'll be like a little half swing, and then I'm like, all right, and then I'll just like full. I'm like, well, that's pretty good. Here we go, and I'll just full swing and just let one rip. I don't care where it goes, and then I'll get that kind of relief moment, and I'm like, all right, we're good. And then I can start like actually focusing on how it's, what the ball flight's actually doing. I was like, did I put the right shaft with the right club head? I don't know, but yeah, I know that experience. I haven't had it fall off yet, but knock on wood.
Me, I'm knocking on wood with you too, because I haven't had a head fly off yet. But I actually, when I hit it, it felt so good. It was my first one that I actually took out to the course and hit, and I just ripped it. Nice little draw right down the fairway. And he looked at me. He was like, he older than me, so I'm pretty old myself, but I'm still I'm late 30s. He early 40s, so his expression different from mine. But when I hit it, he was like, okay. That's how he said. He's like, okay.
He's like, oh, you can do this. Okay.
I'm like, yes. But I will say that I never had a head fly off because I glued it wrong. But you know, you can't go through this not having any mistakes. So I did learn a lot about not cleaning old epoxy out of shafts. I had a shaft that split on me one time, and it's because it was, you know, you got the tip right here, but you know, it was almost like it had epoxy stuck in it, probably about 4 inches away from the tip. And my drill bit didn't, you know, I put my drill bit in there, and for some reason I didn't look down the shaft to see if it was clear, if I saw daylight. And I just went ahead and put it together, and come to find out it was epoxy like stuck way down in there. So now I got drill bits that's like super small, but by that long, you know, just in case I had to go way down in the shaft, because I'm saving a lot of shafts, and it's a lot that go into, you know, what you need to know when you use an old equipment that, you know, other people might have had. You know, they might have tipped it they might have tipped it 2-3 inches. You know, you just never know unless you got the tools to kind of analyze that stuff. So I got smarter, but that come with trial and error. So that's the whole thing about just getting out there, getting your hands dirty, and figuring it out on your own.
Oh,
So
100%. And you talked about it too, right? You said you didn't have the frequency analyzer before, and I'm imagining now you do. You talk about the drill bits like that. What did your
yeah.
shop look like, or was there even a shop when you first started doing this? And what does it look like now? How kind of advanced have you gotten this process now that you've done it, so many times over and over again?
Oh yeah, no, my shop is just as good as Club Champion or anybody else at this point. Like I got
I
a,
like it.
I got I got swing weight, got frequency analyzer. I got every single itty bitty minutia tool that you might need to do anything. I got a bench grinder. I got a buffing wheel. I got a cutoff station. I got a place where I turn down ferrules, another a belt sander where I turn down ferrules. I built my own. I'm proud of this. I sit back when I talk about this. I built my own media blasting cabinet, so I can blast the faces off clubs and all kind of stuff. So that's
Oh
a
man.
and
So that to me, like right off the bat, tells me that you can take any piece of metal and bring it back to
oh yeah.
life.
Yeah. And it's something about bringing back. So now I'm fine tuning what I do. I'm starting to come into my own because I feel like every club builder got their style, and it's a lot of great guys out there. Like I got a putter that I sent to Kyle at the golf garage, and I should probably get him on here. He amazing. But I sent the Scotty Cameron to Kyle, and my friends was like, "Why don't you do it? You got all the tools to do it." And I'm like, that ain't what I do. Like I feel like people got what they're good at. And my passion is iron heads. Like I love old iron heads. You like give me an old MP9 or a Mizuno TN87 and something like that and watch me bring it back to life. It could be totally busted and rusted out and I will bring that mug back to life. Even to the extent where if I have to reach out to some of my outside sources, because I have outside sources. The only thing I'm in California, so the EPA will be on your ass. So sorry for cussing, but the EPA will be on your butt. So I don't have a lot of I can't strip. So what I had to do was I had to go out and make connections with people who had tanks that I could drop these heads in and cut deals with them and negotiate with them. So now I actually have partners. Like if I need to strip a club, I can take it to them. They can do the reverse electroplating and take off all the old nickel, chrome, copper, whatever on it, and then it go down to like the bare metal. Now, what started to get really exciting for me is when I first got my first set of clubs stripped and they came back to me and they was ugly. They was ugly as hell. And like I had no idea that I could work that metal back to a polished finish that looked chrome until I did it. And once I did it, I got hooked. I'm like, wow, at this point, I could really take any head, no matter how messed up it is, and bring it back to life. And that's when I made up in my mind, kind of like, I'm gonna focus on iron heads. If I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna be really good at that. And I'm gonna start showing people on YouTube, how if they want to do it, they can do it too. Whether it's iron heads, I'll still put other weird videos out there about me building these, Frankenstein clubs and stuff like that. But at the core of it, like I want to do iron heads and like be really good at that. So like I said, it's a lot of people out there that do good work. And then there's a lot of people out there that it ain't but if you sit back and think about it though, I don't know if y'all ever thought about this. It's not a lot of club makers like out there for real. Like, and if they are, they might be like me and they just kind of tucked off and got a shop in their backyard that you might not never know about it. Like if I didn't have a YouTube page, besides my friends, most people would never know I build clubs. Like I could be on set producing a commercial and then I was on set with Steph Curry and I'm so stupid. I was so in my own world because you have to separate kind of like business from pleasure. I was on set with Steph Curry. We were shooting a Facebook commercial and Steph was right there. Like I talked to him, I talked to his assistants and all his entourage that come with him, and I didn't even talk to him about golf. I was like, damn, that was your chance, you idiot. You're gonna
And
talk
out
to
of all the
Steph Curry about
celebs, man, he is one of those guys that just like lives and breathes the game and would do anything for the game of golf.
Exactly. My friends still talk about me to that day because I got the other, it was two producers on set. You had the executive producer and then you had me. And he gave the executive producer some shoes, and he was like, man, you can't. He like, I can't wear these. He like, Steph gave me these. I can't wear these. And they was so I wish I had them with me. They in the garage somewhere. I disrespected them, unfortunately, but he gave me these shoes, and man, like I like these Steph shoes. He wore them on set. I got the picture on set where he had them on. I got them in my garage. Man, I like washed my car in them shoes. Like I disrespected them shoes. But yeah, it's like I'm with these people. And I'm like, he right there. I could be talking to him about golf, but I didn't because I try to keep it like kosher, you know. So, but yeah, I got off on a tangent. But yeah,
No, and it's one of those incredible things, right? Like we think, because we're golf nuts, we think there's a lot of people out there that do it. But in the grand scheme of things, like because we follow the pages, we follow the ins and outs of who does what. You know, you were talking about styles. Dante's got a personal friend, Steve Barry, that does specifically putters. You know, you got
yeah.
NorCal putters out in like the West Coast area. And
I
like you
said
said,
I said Nor I said NorCal putter. This I support people. See, this is the thing. I ain't trying to cut you off, but I actually support people. I got a putter, the one with the peen grip. That's from NorCal, and the one with the Scotty Cameron grip. That's from a golf garage. Like I support people. Like
see, and
you
that's
know,
what
like
that I love that you just said that, because that's what's so awesome about, I feel like, all these club builders. And like you said, you do irons. That's your forte. It's what you love to do, and bringing it back. And you have no problem sending somebody a putter, and probably no problem sending someone a driver if they can really get it down, you know, if that's their specialty. And that's what I feel like, and Dante, you can maybe agree with this too. I've seen so much of the people that we've interviewed in the past so pumped up to send something to somebody else because they know that's the style that they want. And that's what's just really cool about all this club building, man, is there's definitely a knack to getting your own style and people appreciating that.
yeah, and there's still a lot of people that I actually want to meet. Like I'm still trying to work my connections right now, but I want to meet. I don't know if y'all ever heard of this guy, Dunn White. I want to meet Dunn White. He worked for McGregor for a long time, and he's a African American club builder. And you know, of course, me being a person of color, you know, it's not too many. Number one, there's not too many black people playing golf. And number two, it damn sure ain't a lot of African American club builders. So the fact that like everybody, he's like super known and everybody in the industry respects him, like, and if you don't know about him, you can Google him. He started after he left McGregor, he started working for Scratch. I think y'all probably remember Scratch Golf. He
Oh,
started working for
100%.
Scratch. Yeah, he started working for Scratch Golf. And the thing, and he one of the reasons I got into like irons and stuff, cause I want to get to that level where you take a blank. I don't know if people ever really seen a blank. It's like, you know, they put the billet in, bam, it come out. It kind of look like a club, but it ain't a club, you know.
I
So
I don't I
Like,
don't mean to
are
cut
we?
you off here, but like the blank, that the perfect video for this, and I you know, I like to plug. We were talking about plugging other people here. Eric Anderslang has a wonderful video of taking a tour through the Myura plant, and how
yep,
they take those blanks and they pound it 3 times. Myura is special because everyone else only does it twice. They do it 3 times. But
yep.
that video, I encourage everybody to go watch that video. It's incredible to see the process of these blanks being forged, and I think that's kind of what you were referencing.
Yeah, like that's what makes me so proud when I play my mirrors, you know. I got a set of mirrors, and that's what make me proud when I play them. I know two things that happen. I know they've been stamped 3 times, and I know, and all that's doing is packing that packing that forging down, making the grain structure tighter. So I know two things happen. I know it's got stamped 3 times, and I know Mirror Son put his hands on 'em. And that's enough for me right there. I'm like, Mirror Son put his hands on these clubs right here. One of the
On that
best
last grinder, he's the last man to
on that.
touch him before they
He
went
was,
out the door.
he was the last man to touch these clubs when they went. And I want people. So now I got this thing. Now my friend, it started off as a joke because I built some clubs for one of my friends, and then he was like, hey man, that 3 wood, the 5 wood. He's like, that 5 wood you built for me. I never felt the 5 wood like that ever before. And then another guy said, you haven't had a club until you had a B Mason club. And then it just started catching on, and like everybody was like, I need to get me one of them B Mason clubs. It's just like to the point now where somebody sent me some clubs the other day. Clubs cost $2,000, and you gotta be somebody who trustworthy and know what they're doing for somebody to send you some. So just I ain't even talking about the shafts. I'm just talking about the heads, like cost $2,000. So and I put them on Instagram, and people like, where you get them from? Like, you can't get these from nowhere but Tour Spec. Like, that's the only place you're gonna get these. So it's just good to kind of be like recognized, but it's hard because one thing a lot of people don't know is like, I just want to share the wealth. I don't want to build clubs full time because I like playing too much, but
Yep.
I just want to share the wealth. So people, even if they don't get into club building, they'll kind of know what to look for and be a little bit more educated about their own clubs, and kind of like, what they should be looking for, how to tell something that's like of quality apart from something that might not be of quality, or craftsmanship. I feel like in this day and age, everybody wants stuff like right then and there, like, but to get it right, man, it take craftsmanship. Like when Lamborghinis was making Lamborghinis, they weren't just pushing them out every week. Like they like, no, it take a certain amount of time to make this Lamborghini. So it's same thing with club buildings. Sometimes it take time to like really make something really good,
But
So
I think you're touching on something really important there about why all of us spend so much time club building or spend so much time researching, the quote unquote perfect build. And that kind of brings me to this like kind of question too. And I feel like Dante and I, as we go back and forth, are figuring things out as we go with building. But like, what's some of the biggest, I guess, misconceptions when people send you clubs or ask you to build a club that they think they can get done or they want done that they actually don't need? What's some of those biggest misconceptions that you've ran into when people send you clubs to get built?
uh a lot of people want blades that don't need blades. Uh the blades are like really wreck your game in a way. Now, like, cause the only reason I play blades is because I like to shake the ball. I don't really care about distance. As you can see, I got gray. I'm not getting any younger, so I'm not necessarily chasing. I'm not chasing distance. It to me is something cool about like moving the ball wherever I want it to go. Like no, I want to curve this that way. Oh, I'm gonna curve it that way. So that's cool. Another big misconception is uh people need to under I'm gonna get back to that one. Let me go to this one next. A lot of people chase distance and they don't understand marketing. Since I work in advertising, I understand marketing very well. So a lot of people think that if they go buy this new club, they're gonna hit the ball farther. So people bring me like I got this one guy who he's always getting the new driver, and I'm very pro new driver. I don't feel like a lot of technology change in irons, but I'm very pro new driver. I'm just not pro new driver every time the new driver come out, because what they do is they say, "Oh, the new Callaway Epic." Sorry for my radio voice, but I had to, how they be like, "Oh, the new Callaway Epic, hit your ball farther," blah blah blah,
It's gonna go
and
far, far, far.
yeah. But what they not telling you is that their farther is 2 yards. You're gonna hit it to like in there. If you would look at their underlining messaging, they say you're gonna hit the ball farther, and they're not lying. You will hit it farther, but you're gonna hit it farther 2 yards. So I don't think a lot of people understand that. They're not telling you exactly how far you really gonna hit that ball further. They need to get kind of like what TaylorMade did, how they how they thin these faces out just to the right amount, the legal playing limit, they got it thin enough to the legal playing limit. And yeah, you're gonna hit it farther, but you're not gonna hit it that much farther, So a lot of people think these new drivers and stuff just gonna make them hit it super far. And it's really not, it's marketing BS, but whatever. I don't want to bash the industry because I love the industry at the same time. But like, I'm here to educate people, man. Like they could listen to me or not. I don't care as long as the golf community is thriving.
Well,
But
and I
like,
feel like too, because yeah, I couldn't agree more. There's a point where like I don't want to bash the industry because I love being a part of it, but at the same point,
yeah,
like I feel like especially with these newer clubs, whether it's from 2018, 19, or 20, the heads are very similar. That your distance lies more in the shaft and the correct swing weight you've got,
and
right in that area. And Dante
and
knows more this than anything.
that's where club building and the expertise
yeah,
and education comes into play, because I mean, Brandon, you know more than I do. I mean, I'm piecing together different shafts and pretty much my woods and my drivers, just because I really don't feel like going to get fit again, and I like doing it and figuring it out on my own. But it comes down to, like you're saying, it's you got the marketing aspect, trying to get the new. Well,
yeah,
why don't we learn what material we're dealing with? Like you were saying,
yeah.
bringing down to the certain finishes and dealing
I
with these certain metals, and then dealing with this certain shaft, this steel shaft versus this carbon steel and this and that. You learn that, you will change. You can probably take a driver that's 5 years old to the current market, and if you know what material that you're using and what shaft fits what,
Yep.
you probably will hit it further than.
Oh yeah. I got this so I'm always making YouTube videos and stuff. So I got this one bill right now. It's a I found it for pretty cheap. It's a R7 425. I like small heads too. It's a
Yep.
R7 425. But the whole concept of this, I'm gonna do a YouTube series. I think I might have already put the first video out. I'm not sure. I make so many videos, but I gotta do two more parts to the series. So I went in looking for, before I take y'all down that rabbit hole, I got one more thing I want to hit because I feel like it's important. The third thing about club building that I feel like a lot of people need to know is they need to understand the degrees, not the number on the bottom of the club.
Yes.
Because what's going on in the industry is like people say, man, don't ever go to the tee box and be like, somebody hit a good shot. Don't ever ask them what you hit. Like they're gonna be like, hit my seven. Okay, damn, you hit your seven 195. Jeez, 1 or 200. You hit your seven 200. Wow. What they not understanding is that because the degree of the loft that's on that 7 iron, that 7 is really a 5, and like a lot of people in golf don't understand that. So they get discouraged and they be like, oh man, Billy hitting this 7 iron 200. I'm gonna hit my 155, 160. I mean, it's because Billy's swinging a 5 iron. He's not swinging a 7, bro. So it's like they talk to me about the degrees. Don't talk to me about the what's printed on the bottom. And me and my friend laugh about that too, because when I hit my 7, I hit it, like 168, 169, something like that. And he hit his 7 way farther than mine. And he was like, man, you be smashing your 7 farther than other people hit they 7, and they don't even know that your 7 like a 8. So it's like, it's so many. I love golf because it's a mystery, but then I get mad too because a lot of people don't understand the mystery and everything. We make it so mystique when it don't have to be.
I've always
But
wondered why we've never just stamped, 28, 32, 40, whatever.
Listen, I think Hogan tried to do that.
Ben Hogan did it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Ben
The
Hogan tried to
Company.
do that. He did that when they released the newer set of irons after their hiatus for a little bit. They did that, and I think people got so confused
Yes.
because Rick Shields did it. He got them, and he had a chart that he carried with them to make sure, be like, oh, this 23 degree that I have is equated to this iron. That's what I hit for this. This is like whatever. It was like, say like the 25 was like his 5 iron or something. He's like, that's my 5
You know
iron.
what I
think
equated
people
it
got
to?
so confused because it's so many numbers. And you're like,
Yep.
whoa.
I
think
equated it to like the American version of like our feet and inches to like the metric system. Like people don't want to see the metric system. They don't want to deal with it. They just want to deal with feet and inches. And it's the same thing with golf clubs. Stamp a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on there. I don't want to deal with 2 digits. That's too much.
Yeah, I mean, that's this like you were saying, Brandon. It's like it's like, all right, we're playing a par 3, 150 yards. Like, what'd you hit? Well, I hit my 150-yard club.
Yeah.
Not whatever club I had, because your lofts can be completely different to my lofts. Mine could be weaker, or mine could be stronger.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're right there. The misconception with the numbers stamped on the bottom of the club. I mean, listen, we all come to fault with it, because we want to hit it far. We want to have the shorter club in our hand, but you got to throw the ego out the door. It's at the end of the game. It's who's got the lowest score at the end of the round.
Exactly. And my thing is, I don't necessarily. That's why I make my YouTube page. I don't necessarily want people to change it. I just want people to understand it. Like, just educate yourself enough to understand it. That's all. That's all I really want. I feel like once people start to like understand, the club fitting side a little bit more, in the club building side, they'll start to understand the game so much. Like, I love it. Golf is confusing, and I love it about it because it is confusing. It kind of reminds me of filmmaking. I never understood that, like, I hope I ain't finna go over nobody's head, but I never understood in filmmaking, like, if I want to, if I want everything to be in focus, I need my iris to be at a F22, but F22 mean everything closed. It's like everything is always backwards. It's the same thing with photography and filmmaking, kind of like with golf in a way. So I kind of equate the two because I get lost into, because I do both of them at the same time. So I kind of get lost in that world a little bit. But as far as this bill I got, like, I found these two clubs. Well, I went looking for a firewood just because I wanted to build a firewood. Sometimes I just get to the point where I just want to build something. So I went looking for a firewood, and I specifically wanted a R7 because man, that R7, when that line came out, I feel like that was like super solid for TaylorMade. And that's when they came out with the whole weighting system and stuff like that, which is still what we're using right now in the grand scheme of things.
That was that super quad head, right? Like the 4 weights on the
Yeah, which is basically what we're doing right now. We moving weight around in the bottom of the head, So, but I wanted that club, and I went looking for. So I found the firewood, and it was a TaylorMade R7. I got my little secret shops that I go to get these clubs and stuff. I'm in the Bay Area, so of course, like, I think you guys are on the East Coast, but like in the Bay Area, it's expensive as hell out here, and people just got a lot of freaking discretionary money, so they just get rid of a whole bunch of dumb stuff for no reason. So, I go buy it and flip it on eBay.
It's a club builder's paradise.
It is a club builder's paradise, actually. But so I went and bought it, and it was a guy in the parking lot, and he like, hey, I saw you looking at that R7. I'm like, yeah. He was like, I got a club in the car if you want it, and it was kind of awkward because, he just randomly came up and talked to me, but I'm the type of person, I'll talk to anybody. So I was like, yeah. So I reluctantly, kind of hesitantly went out to his car with him, and he opened up the trunk, and he pulled out this head. He was like, yeah, the shaft broke off of it. I found it at the golf course. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I pick it up and I look at it. It's an R7 425. I was like, ooh. But I didn't let him know that I felt like that. I was like, okay, yeah, that's cool. Yeah. I like, how much you want for it? He like, oh man, you could just have it. I like, oh, okay. Yeah. I like, cool. And then so I said, hey, I'll be a clubs too if you ever need some clubs. I gave him my contact info, and I took the head and went in the car, and I just sat down and looked at it. I like, he just gave me a R7 425. Like, these things sell on eBay right now for 125. Like, he just gave it to me. So I got super excited about it
because like you hold the winning lottery ticket right in your hand.
Yeah. I mean, to most people, they wouldn't give a shit. Like, they're just like, I don't want that shit anyway. But to me, it's an R7 425. I play small heads. Like right now, I play a M5 440. Before that, I had the 2017 M1 440. So I play like, I like some about the small heads that I like. I guess it make me concentrate a little bit more. Most people be like, oh, it's stupid. You need a 460 cc. But that's when building clubs, you start to realize what you like and what you don't like, because you making this stuff on your own. So you start to develop your own style as far as like golfing and what you hit well and what you don't hit well. So yeah. So right now I got them. I'm gonna put them on eBay. Once I finish the video series, I'm gonna put them on eBay, or I might call the dude up and just give it back to him, depending on how I feel.
I love that. I love that. That's what's, man. There's always something that's gonna top the last build, right? Like there's always something that like you get your eyes on and you say, man, that might have been the coolest thing I've ever built. And then you look at something else and you're like, ooh, I'm gonna build something with that too. And then it becomes the next cool. And that's the fun thing about building, man. There's no end in sight to it because there's so many combinations you can do. There's so many ways to get creative. You know, obviously, like we talked about at the beginning of the show, the wooden head with the graphite shaft. I mean, there's so many ways to get creative. You drill in the head, you do this, you do that. It's an endless cycle. And it's one of those things where it just goes back to you being the artist and just kind of really dreaming up what combination you can put together that actually fits together and hits a golf ball.
Hits a golf ball. And then in the end, we all love this crazy game. So it's what makes you feel good. When you get it in your hand, what makes you smile? You know, the weighting of it. Does it feel like a feather, or does it feel like a fucking axe? Who knows? Everybody like different stuff. But you know, it's like what feels good to you? Cause like even me, for me to play golf, I have to be super dedicated. And when I say dedicated, I mean I play golf at, my friends hate playing golf with me. I play golf at super weird times. Like I go out, I'm there when they cutting the grass in the morning. Like that's how, like I'm literally
the best rounds right there.
I'm
Early riser.
I'm literally the first one on the course. Like by the time my kids wake up, I have already went and played. You know, I don't play a lot of 9 holes though.
We talk about that all the time. Dalton is a chase the sun guy. I like to rise.
I'm a sunset round, man. Give me that 2
I'm
p.m.,
with you.
3 p.m. and let me chase the sunset, baby.
I'm with you on that one. I mean, you get out there, you're with the mowers, you got the dew, you got the sun rising. It's just like there's no one out. It's so quiet. You're out there playing with you by yourself or with the group of guys that like to, you know, a lot of the guys I play with, we're early risers. And the reason for me that I like that is like those things right there, but you're done by lunch. So you still have the rest of the day. If you have like a family, a wife, kids or whatever, you got to get back to them. Or if you want to go play another round, you're in the clear.
I did that too. I'm not gonna lie, I have done a lot of come up with the sun and go down with the sun. So I play 9 in the morning. I play the back 9 in the morning, and I play the front 9 in the evening time. And I love it. But if I want to play, I have to, because I got like so many other people out here who play golf. You know, we got a family, we got responsibilities. So, you know, I love the game. I love the game enough to get up at 4:30 and be at the golf course at 5:00 and be the first one on the course. Like the maintenance workers know me. I'm out there. The guy. Have y'all ever seen somebody rolling the greens before in real life? Like the little cart they sit on that just go like this and like that back and forth.
Little joystick.
I think that thing's so amazing, man. And the guy that rolled the greens at my home course, he goes so fast on that thing.
So I will say,
watching him.
And I can relate to that. I used to work golf course maintenance, and the last year I worked golf course maintenance, I was kind of promoted up to being able to cut the greens and roll the greens too. Boy, what an experience when it is right on one of those, as you're watching the sun come up, like you can barely see where you're going, and you're running this roller back and forth and back and forth. It's one of those things that it kind of goes back to club building. Not many people can say that they've had the experience of actually rolling a green or cutting a green for that matter. And it's just one of those awesome feelings when you look back on it, you're like, man, that green's fresh. It's rolling good. And I can't wait to see people enjoy it.
I get to play it most of the time right after they get through rolling it, and don't let it be a day that is no dew on the ground, like no dew and it's not wet, because a lot of times my course is right by the ocean, right by the bay, so it's kind of wet most of the time. But don't let it be a day that they rolled it and it's not any dew on the ground. The ball be rolling so pure, and a lot of people who play muni courses, because my course is a muni course, but a lot of people who play munis, they never really experience that feeling of rolling like a true green, like just tapping it and the ball go, you know. So I encourage everybody to get out there and do that, man. I look golf changed my life, man. I ain't gonna lie. Golf and not like changed my life into like introducing me to new people where I can talk to cool people like y'all. It just changed my life into it kind of slowed me down as a person and kind of like just kind of even me out. Like I don't get mad about certain stuff. I hit good shots that end up in stupid places and I hit bad shots that end up next to the hole. It's like it just kind of taught me that like I like to equate like golf and life together, and it's just it kind of just go hand in hand. Like some days you're gonna wake up, you're gonna have a good day. Some days you're gonna wake up, you're gonna have a bad day. Anybody play golf enough know you could wake up super ready. You could be like, oh man, I'm about to go out shoot the lowest round I ever had in my life. And you go out there and just blow it up. So like like I watched the podcast where y'all played where you played after the LPGA and you blew it up,
Oh my
like
god, that was brutal, dude. That sucked. I was so pumped to play too. I was like, I studied the course for like a week. I was trying to watch YouTube videos just to kind of get a feel. Because one of the things I like when I'm playing a course for the first time is I like to kind of go in knowing a little bit of like a game plan, just so I can enjoy myself a little bit better. I had this game plan. I was like, all right, we're gonna hit this club on this hole, this and that. We got there. It was cold. The wind picked up. Everything that I prepared for out the window. I think once I got to like the 10th hole, I just said F it. And I just was pulling driver on every hole. I said, screw it. Let's just have a good time. Like I was like pumped. I mean, like even my partner, he blew it up too. And I was just like, and he's a solid player as well.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
it
golf. That's
was
that's golf for
that's
you.
golf.
That's
Like you
golf.
said, I mean, we had a game plan, we had a strategy. I had my own strategies. It's like, all right, I'm gonna play my game. We'll try and ham and egg it. Yeah,
Yeah.
we blew up on the same holes, and I think once we got to the sixth, it was just like, oh, crap. But I mean, that's golf.
That's
I
golf.
mean,
I've been blessed to actually play a lot of amazing courses, and I know you guys going down to Palm Springs, and I encourage you to play Indian Wells, the celebrity course. That's one of my favorite courses. I played Mission Hills. I played Mission Hills, Diana Shores course. I played all the courses at PGA West. I have played everywhere almost in Palm Springs. Even on in the Bay Area along the West Coast. I played Sandpiper. I played Lake Merced, like I played Harding, the other I wanted to play after they had the open, but couldn't get no tee time because everybody else was trying to do just like me and like experience the PGA rough, but I couldn't get out there. But I've been blessed to play a lot of great courses and I just I love golf. I love building club. Like for me, it's like when I get done with my regular work and I go outside to my shop because now I have an actual shop that I built in the backyard and I go out to my shop and I open up the doors. It's like my sanctuary, I put on a little music, I I can listen to anything. Like I might be listening to some rap. I might be listening to some country. I might be listening to some R&B. Who knows? Hell, I might be listening to a podcast, whatever. But it's my sanctuary when I go in there, and it's just being able to take nothing and turn into something, or being able to take something that was discarded and bring it back to life. Man, it like really it's therapy actually. Like building clubs became therapy for me, and I was going through a lot in my personal life, and I was able to use club building to get me out of some dark places. So golf is an amazing sport, and I think I'm gonna do. And the one thing about my YouTube, I want to like, I want to show people how to be a club, but I also want to use it as a platform to like just you know bring. I know a lot of people talk about, oh, we need to get more people in the game. Well, I think what's going to get people more in the game, no, it is. I can testify to this. What's getting people more into the game is what you guys are doing, what I'm doing. Like we getting millennials into the game now. We getting people who have never ever thought about playing golf. Now they think about playing golf. On my end, we're getting people who see me. They're like, oh, black dude, he build clubs and he play golf. Well, I think I'm gonna try golf. So we're getting people of color into the game. So it's just all these platforms are making it where people can get into the game, and that's ultimately what we want. I'm kind of selfish though too, because like now because of COVID, all the courses like super packed and like we want to get people into the
Yeah.
game, but like people who play all the time, like, well,
It's like
And it's busy, and then we're like,
it's
go home.
Yeah.
Go home.
It's like, yeah, this is my little hidden secret, but I'm pumped that you guys are playing, but get off my little hidden gem, please. I know, I feel you. But speaking of the YouTube thing, what you're saying, one thing that this is me personally with putting clubs together, I would like to see a video on how to install a ferrule because I screw them up every single time. They're all mangled. I tried doing all types of tricks just to get, because then they get stuck.
Yeah,
that's just my only request.
I would do that because it's funny. Everybody develops their own style, so I have finally developed my own style of perfectly installing a ferrule. And you know, I will make a video, but I'll walk you. I'll kind of, you know, I'm very. I feel like I speak very visual, so I'll walk you through it real quick. What I like to do is I like to take the club head, put it on the shaft without the ferrule, put it on the shaft. That way you know how far that club head is actually going to go down. And if you got a tilt weight, make sure the tilt weight in there too. So you put it on there all together. Then you take the ferrule and you hold it up against the shaft. So you're able to find out how far that ferrule needs to come down. Then you take a piece of tape and you put it right at the edge of where that piece of masking tape, put it right at the edge of where that ferrule stops at. So then you take the ferrule, I like to put just a tad bit of epoxy on the inside of the ferrule because sometimes people don't know if you somebody who neglect your clubs and leave them in the car or whatever, if it's hot, those ferrules like loosen up and stuff like that. So I like to put a little bit of epoxy on the inside. And then I put it on. And you need to get a ferrule block. Most people don't know this. There's a thing called a ferrule block. It only costs like, I don't know, probably about $8, I guess. I'm not sure. It's called a ferrule block. You take the ferrule, you put it on the shaft, and then you push it down on the ferrule block. So that ferrule block get it started and get it going down the shaft. So they leave about that much of the tip exposed. So then what I do is I use board ferrules, and their ferrules are always tight. They look great, but they're always super tight. So what I do is I take a heat gun and I take my shaft and I hold the heat gun up and I spin the shaft with the ferrule on there, and I get it warmed up just enough to the point, and it's no science to it. I think I just smell it and I see it at this point, but I get it warmed up just enough, and then I take the head and I push it down on it, and it pushed the ferrule down, and that ferrule land right at the edge of that tape. And if it don't make it to that tape, then I know I need to warm it up just a little bit more and push it until it hit the edge of that tape.
Yeah, because I'm gonna have to see a video on that. Because I'm a very big visual learner. I was trying to put the pieces together, but because I would have trouble too when the ferrule, I'd put it on just to kind of see like where it goes, and then I'd get it stuck.
Yeah. Oh, see that, and that's why I don't put it on. That's why I hold it up next to it.
Oh crap! And then I'm sitting there like trying to yank it off, or I'd take a heat gun and then I'd throw it out because I just wasted it. And then people were telling me, so like the trick that I was doing sometimes too is I'll go get like a cup of water and I'll hit like the beverage button on the microwave and get it nice and hot. Yeah. And then I throw the ferrule into the hot water and let it get a little malleable.
Yeah.
And then I'll slide it on.
You don't gotta do none of that. I'll make you a video.
Then I put the club head on and I start tapping it down. But then at the same time, if it's too malleable, then the ferrule gets all mangled.
Yeah.
I was like,
and you know what? I'm glad you said this because I'm always thinking about what kind of like I just be right now, like my videos be way longer than they need to be because I'm always just doing full bills, you know. But I always ask myself, like, what kind of like 5-minute, 4-minute videos can I make that people really need? And like you saying that made me realize I just need to put a video out about how I would.
Me personally, I would appreciate that big time because I've gone down all types of YouTube videos just trying to find just the ferrule installation part. Yeah. I've picked multiple people's brains. I've watched multiple videos on how to do the whole process of putting a club head and then, you know, getting the epoxy right and then putting the club head onto the shaft work good. Yeah. The hardest part for me is making sure I'm putting the ferrule on correctly and at the right space and making sure I'm not screwing it up at all because I've run into problems like that. I mean, I love the ferrules because it's I mean, from what I've heard, you don't really need them. It's just an aesthetic piece.
Yeah, it's
but I'm very anal and OCD about my equipment. It's got to look good too. Yeah. So I was like, ferrules are like the hardest part for me. I get so frustrated with
I'm gonna make you a video. You'll never have to worry about how to.
I really appreciate it.
I really believe that I came up with this myself because it was just trial and error, and it's like I kept messing up so many times, and then I stumbled on like, okay, what if I do this? What if I do that? And then it just became part of my process. And I think too, what made me have to like really figure out how to do it is because I started working with like $45 ferrules. And like, $45 ferrules, you ain't trying to mess up no $45 ferrules, like board ferrules, they tight.
Yeah, I have them on my wedges, and I was like, yo, where can I get some dope ass wedges? And I ordered from them, and I just put them on my wedges, and I said they're thick and they're tight, and I said, yo, I do not want to ruin these because that would suck.
My clients get mad at me because I'll be like, they like people who get me to be a club for them. They be like, yeah, I want some ferrule. Like, okay, what kind of ferrule you want? Oh, I just want the basic black. I'm like, oh, I don't do those. I'm sorry. Like all my ferrules cost $45. I get them from Boyd. So there's a 100% plug for them. They make the best ferrules ever. I want a discount.
I love it.
I buy so much stuff from them. I'm like, I want a discount.
Yeah.
They own my Christmas tree. Like my Christmas tree right here. Like I use that as an ornament. Oh, hold up. Come here. Literally, I don't have to lie about this stuff. I put them on my Christmas tree, man.
Oh man, yeah. Incredible.
It comes in a bag, dude. That's what's so cool about that.
That's so classy.
That's what I was actually shocked when I purchased like the ferrules, and they give you like a good amount for the ferrules, and you get like what do you say? I would say like an iron set worth of ferrules you would usually get, and it comes in a little patch with their logo stamped on it, and you're like, yo, I got these ferrules, but now I got a tea pouch that I've been searching for. I was like, they know what's up.
Yeah, they know it. He been in the business a long time, so he definitely know what's up. So yeah, so I mean,
well, you're talking about making that video, right? So where can people find you on YouTube? Where can people follow along? Obviously, YouTube, Instagram, whatever. Where can people follow along on this awesome process you're going to show us?
Keep following my journey. I'm super easy to find. It's Built by B Mason. BUILTBY, then BMASON. Built by B Mason. It's the same thing on YouTube. So YouTube / Built by B Mason. I guess I was making good videos. YouTube gave me a /, so I'm Built by B Mason. Same thing on Instagram, Built by B Mason. So.
Love it. And same on podcast now too. You're debuting this podcast and kind of periodically getting into it.
I'm getting my fingers wet.
Absolutely, man. No, and that's awesome. We love seeing. We talked about it earlier, and I feel like we kind of roundabouted it a lot throughout the whole show. It's just like it's all about getting more people into the game, and whether it's through your YouTube page or whether it's through people saying, hey, you know what, he's an African-American man building clubs. I don't see that too often too. And it's like, is that kind of your end goal with all of this? It's just to really get more people into the game like we were talking about earlier. And if so, is it like kind of storytelling with that as well?
Yeah. I never thought when I first got into it, I didn't really know what my goal was. I think my goal initially coming into it was just I'm like, man, I taught myself how to do something. It'll be a disservice if I didn't try to teach somebody else how to do it. So I think that was my real goal. And then I started looking around and started realizing I didn't really see too many people that look like me. So I'm like, man, maybe if people see me doing this, maybe more people who look like me might want to get involved in the game. So that became another outlet to fuel me to keep going, and I think when it all boiled down to it, it's just a love for the game, man. Like I never thought I'd find so much peace and solace in this game, and I think that's what it really boiled down for me. Like for me to work all day and then, come get on a podcast or go out. Like I could work 12 hours and still go out to that little house that I built out there and work another 6 hours on clubs and feel perfectly fine about it. And it's just that whole like love for the game. And I do hope it resonates and other people, get excited and want to get involved with golf, want to get involved with club making. I'm getting my children into it. Like I made my son and daughter a putter right there, right there, right
Talk us through that,
there.
man. That's so special. Real quick, I want to touch on that because that's so cool, man. How much pride do you have in making your kids clubs, man, and getting them
Oh
going in this game?
man, the best moment I ever had, I was like my backyard pretty big and my kids they just go out there and tear it up. So I keep when I'm working in the shop, I keep both doors open because I need to see them because they only 5 and 3, and my daughter will be over there eating dirt or something, so I had to like keep my eyes on 'em. So I was in the shop working and I got my net up, my practice net, and I looked out the door and I saw my daughter. She didn't have a club, but she was imitating swinging into the net. And I don't know, it touched me in my soul, man, because I'm like, children, so like, they just a sponge. They soak up everything they see you do. So she has seen me hit into that net so many times that now she's emulating what I do. And I like, man, that's like super special because when I was growing up, I'm in California, but I'm originally from Birmingham, Alabama, and like, I went to a lot of people can't even relate to this, but I grew up in a community that was like all black. I went to a all black high school, like I grew up in the hood, so it's kind of like, but we didn't realize it was the hood because we loved it. But looking back at it, I'm like, oh, I was in the hood, so it's like, we just love where we was at and we loved our people. But I'm like, it was in the hood. So the fact that like I have, came from that environment to where I'm at now is like to like go play on these like prestigious and expensive golf courses and meet like all these new people. I think it's real important for me to know that people who like in the hood right now can like see past that and be like, you know what? I can get out of this situation and I can do something big and better, and like I kind of hold on to that. So the fact that I can introduce my kids to the game early, like the game was not introduced to me early. I played football and basketball. That's what I did, and back then and even now people still have the same mentality that like if you want to make it out, you gotta be a celebrity or you gotta well take that back. If you want to make it out, you gotta be a rapper or you gotta be a footballer or a basketball player. No, you can go play golf too, like, or you can just be smart as hell and it's other ways, what I'm saying. I love that about the world we live in now because we didn't grow up with YouTube. Like now, people like I'm
Right.
38. Well, 38. Dang, Brandon, you making yourself old. I'm 37, about to be 38. But when I was coming up, when I was like, 16, it wasn't no YouTube. Like it was not YouTube. Like I'm in that world where I got the analog and the digital. Like I had a phone where you take the button, you rotary phone where you like I grew up in that world, you know what I'm saying? Black and white TV world. But then I'm also in the world now where, everything wireless and touchscreen and stuff. So it's kind of we didn't people what I'm trying to get at is people is more information available right now than there has at your fingertips than there has ever been before. So like whereas building golf club truly was this like mystique, it's not really a mystique anymore because you can just go on YouTube and watch a fool like me build some crazy stuff, and you be like, "Oh, I think I want to build golf clubs," and you can almost teach yourself. You still got to invest in the right equipment and stuff like that, but is more information right now than there has ever been before, and I feel like if people apply themselves and like really go out there and like pay attention, you can do anything, and then you can experience that gratification of going out and hitting a club that you built with your own hands.
Amen. Amen. I could not have said it better. I'm going to leave it at that because that's just wow, that's inspiring for not only the people who already do it, but the people who are thinking, "Hey, that looks kind of cool. I wonder what it's all about," and looking to get into it as well. So I'm going to leave it on that, Brandon. It's been an absolute pleasure. We could talk for hours and hours on end. I
Yeah,
know
man,
it.
I could definitely go on forever, but I appreciate y'all, taking the time out, reaching out to me, and I'm just a normal everyday guy, man. Y'all can go follow me on this journey. It's not going to end anytime soon. The ride is only going to get better. So
Amen to that. And that's why, you say, "Oh, I'm just an everyday guy." You're doing some special things, and that's the kind of that's what we love to see, is just someone who has the passion for the game at the end of the day, doing what they love and sharing it with others. So Brandon, again, man, thank you so much. Guys, go follow him, Built by B Mason on Instagram, Built by B Mason on YouTube, with a Farrell YouTube video coming out soon.
coming super soon.
Let's go.
All
My
right.
club's clean.
Oh man, I
Man,
love it. I love it.
that was cool. That was cool, man. I really appreciate that, man. I like even talking about golf is like therapy for me, man. So I really appreciate it.
Well, it's our pleasure, man. As always, guys, get out there, carry your clubs, get your clubs built by B Mason, and go enjoy the walk.
That's the stuff. One shot at a time.